Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start by giving infinite praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, qadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well, teach well, through 100% truth and sincerity. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother around here with a walk and talk lesson through the spirit and truth of Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. This is Matthew chapter 6. But first, I'm going to start it all the way down. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. It says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of Yahawah bahasham yahawashi and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." You know, where your mind is, or where your heart is, the Lord, Yahawah bahasham yahawashi, will give you your every desire. Salaki for the background noise too. I'm on a walk and talk lesson. But like I was just saying, and like the scripture says, where your heart's desire is, that's what the Lord will give you, man. If you're seeking out worldly benefit, you'll receive it. But if you're seeking out spiritual, understand that Yahawah bahasham yahawashi can give you, an increase in the spirit, right? And this is why he's telling you to, put your mind in the heavens more than here on earth. All right? Because what is beneficial for your life? What is the benefit of this world compared to the benefit of the spirit? And you totally understand that the benefit of the spirit is far more exceeding. And it comes with exceedingly more glory, by truly serving Yahawah bahasham yahawashi. Okay? Not just doing the things that pertaineth unto this world, but ultimately laying up your treasures in heaven, which in where moth and dust doth not corrupt, like I'm going to pull out in the scriptures. Alright? So, like I was starting off, it says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of Yahawah bahasham yahawashi and of his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." So if your mind is on serving Yahawah bahasham yahawashi and his righteousness, all things can be added unto you. Okay? But if you're not focused, you're not locked into the spirit, Yahawah bahasham yahawashi could take away even the little that we have, man. All right? And this is why you shouldn't worry about tomorrow or the day after. Lock in and focus on the things that are sufficient for this day. All right? Like the scripture says, Matthew 6 and 34. "Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evils thereof." So yeah, man, it's already enough evils in this day, which you don't know if you're going to make it to see the next, man. But what? Give Yahawah bahasham yahawashi your all, while you're in the strength to do so. All right? Serve the Lord with fear and trembling while you can, man. Before he takes his spirit away and leave us, or leave you in a bug-out mind state. Okay? And this is why, our treasure should be what? Set upon the kingdom, instead of having your mind set upon this earth, hastening the day to make it out of this place, because this is what the men of the Lord will be doing. So, all right. So jumping into it, Matthew 6 and 19. "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal." It says, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor to steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So like it was saying, man, if you're seeking ye the kingdom first, all these things shall be added unto you. But if you're seeking the earthly benefits, where moth and rust doth corrupt, You know, you're seeking the corruptible crown and not the incorruptible crown through yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. You're totally blinding yourselves. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're seeking out the crown of everlasting life, man. You know, seeking to be saved out of this place, to receive salvation, to be partakers in immortality. You know, the first go round, and not having to learn death by pain. And this is why, you know, if you're doing anything, man, do it for yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi's sake. You know, not to please yourselves, but to please the Lord, man. Remember what our job is to do, man. Remember that the Lord asked us specifically to do what? Romans 12:1, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, which is your reasonable service. So this is your reasonable service. To seek the things that, you know, are upon the heavens and not upon the earth. But ultimately, you know, put your mind where, you know, where the scriptures lead you to. You know, where the comforter is using his words to comfort you while we're in a state of affliction. You know, don't sell out for the bag. All right, put your heart where yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi is, by seeking what? Seek ye the kingdom first, okay, and his righteousness, and all these things that you don't have, man, will start to fall into place. And if it doesn't, understand that you're gonna receive it in the kingdom, man. All right, this is just a early preparation, you know, to what? To not have certain things. So when it comes down into the time of Jacob's trouble, you're able to truly let go of the things in which, you know, you didn't have in the first place, man. You got some people, you know, are gonna have a hard time to let go of the materialistic things of this world, because what? They have become comfortable and used to, you know, having these things. But what? For the men of the Lord that has been practicing, you know, losing things and, you know, applying, you know, the Sabbath days and not eating and drinking, you know, applying, you know, seeking ye the kingdom first and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto thee first, man. Because what? It's coming down to a time which you're going to need. You're going to need to understand what is that sacrifice that is acceptable. And yeah, seeking out the corruptible things are not, you know, acceptable to yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. And although he has mercy and grace, what are you doing in the time of mercy and grace? Are you using your grace period wisely? You know, or are you seeking out the things upon this earth? All right. But like the scripture says, continuing on, Romans 12:1, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Okay? It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that's good and acceptable and perfect will of yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. And yeah, we're putting on as the hopeful elect, rehearsing the righteous acts, not just putting up any sacrifice like the Lord's just acceptable to anything. No, we're presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. Like the scripture says, if you shall save your life, you shall lose it. But such as lose your life for yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, you shall find life everlasting, man. And this is something about putting your mind in the heavens, man, already. You know, not seeking these earthly things. You know, thinking that by having a bag, it's gonna keep you stable. And yeah, although the Lord knows that what you need, your daily bread, understand that that's not where stability comes from. Okay? Stability comes from what? The scriptures, from the spirit of yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. This is Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 5. The Lord, yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And this is why you shall be what? Seeking ye the kingdom first, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right? And it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You know, and you could totally see what treasures, you know, you're seeking out after, because the Lord will give it to you. You know, if you're asking the Lord, yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, to increase you in the spirit, then, you know, then the Lord will increase you, man. If you're asking you to keep your mind in the spirit or the qadash, so that you can use it to apply it in these times that we're coming into, you know, the Lord, yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, will do so, man. You know, think about it. Who have ever trusted in the Lord and was confounded? This is something you have to ask, man. But the thing is, what are you going to do for yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi? And this is a question you have to ask yourselves. All right? And Salakia, while I get this last point, this is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 23. It says, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance. For ye serve the Lord yahawashi hamashiach. You know, by serving, you know, yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, that's where the inheritance of everlasting life comes in at. That's where the inheritance of salvation, the kingdom, you know, comes into play. But it starts with what? Obeying, fearing the Lord, doing all you can to withstand and to receive those benefits that in the times that we're coming into, Jacob's trouble, man. Because you're seeing on an elevated scale, what? You know, you have these agents kicking in doors, you know, on your street corners, at your train stations, you know, but it's not hitting the fan just yet into people's eyes. So it's elevated on an all-out scale, man. You know, but right now it starts with you just seeking ye the kingdom first. Not playing around like it's just like we got all day. Now, because you never know when the Lord could shut down, you know, society. Because you're hearing rumors of wars. You're hearing the talks of the charagma. You're hearing the lack of jobs, the hiring and the firing of these different companies, right? You're hearing that it's less hiring and more firing. And these are all telltale signs which through the spirit, the qadash, you're able to measure out the time diligently in itself and to apply it, man. This is why your heart got to be set upon the things that are not upon this earth, and put your mind into the things that we're about to come into. All right? So ending off with this, Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, yahawashi, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach, yahawashi, sitteth on the right hand of Yahawah. Set your affection on the things above, not on things on the earth. And this is something you have to continuously tell yourselves, man. You know, because what? Your job can increase you. It might be that season which you're increased, right? Or it may be a season where you're bought low. But you should be putting your mind and setting your affections on the things in the heavens and not on earth. Right? And it says, for ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in Yahawah. Okay? So we totally understand the only way that we find life is through Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. And if you're not doing it that way, then you know, like the scripture says, if you wander out of the way of understanding, you be left in the congregation of the dead, man. Okay, it says, when Hamashiach, yahawashi, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. And this is by setting your affections on the heavens, man, and not the things that are upon this earth. Because like it says, where your treasures is, your heart will be also. And the men of the Lord's treasure is what? Storing up these heavenly treasures in earth. I mean, storing up these heavenly treasures that, are in the heavens, man, not on earth. Because these things here on earth will corrupt you and cause you to what? Forsake yourselves into losing your crown. Okay? And to end off with this one, Revelations chapter 3 and verse 11. Well, verse 10. Revelations 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. If you haven't been setting yourselves into storing up heavenly treasures, it's going to be a hard time to lose, the things that you have in the time of Jacob's trouble, in the time of the Karagma, that hour of temptation, which he's going to cause all to receive what? The CHIP, okay, in that time, to keep their riches of this world, man, or to keep their job. But if you've been preparing through Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, building your faith up, like it says, he's going to keep you in the hour of temptation when he comes to try this whole world. All right? And it says, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And remember, you could take your own crown, man. This is not a game for the weak, man. And this is not a game in general, man. This is a race into salvation. And this is something you have to ask yourselves and count the cost. Because these are the things in which the Lord could take away or increase you with. And this is why he said to us, seek ye the kingdom first and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto thee. All right? So continuously to seek out the treasures of the heavens and the increase of the spirit, and not what? And not the things that are upon this earth. So yeah, I want to end off by saying, Lord's willing, it was an edifying lesson through the spirit and truth of Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, qadash, shanya kabad, gawala rakwab, sequoia now ba'ath, shalom.